It's another beautiful time again to bring you a topical issue. Global Morning is right here. This is the weekend edition. The newspaper analysis was so interesting. I actually wanted us to continue, but then it's very important to talk about your business, the growth of your business, the place of fintech in giving you the ladder, the bridge to get to the next level. This morning, I told you we are going to be talking about business growth and, of course, the role of fintech as a critical tool for scaling, getting up, progressing, doing well, at least moving up the matter, the scaling up in your business. Hardly anything you can do today without finance. And, of course, the transaction, how seamless has it been? How has non-seamless transaction affected the growth of businesses? A lot of people complain. In fact, if you go to see what is happening at the point of sales, go to some banks, go to some financial institutions and you see what is happening, it will amaze you. And business owners are lamenting, entrepreneurs, SMSCs, a lot of people who are in the business environment are actually not feeling so good about the situations. And today, I have a fintech expert with me, Ahmed Sani, who is going to be on the conversation with me. Good morning, Ahmed.
Good morning, Mr. Ramsey.
It's good to have you.
Yeah.
The first time, as soon as I saw you, well, Ahmed, we actually decided to have Ahmed today because he's an expert in the field. And of course, he's the founder of Metic Technology. And they've done so much. These are people that I've actually researched. And I have seen what they are doing. So far, so good. Let's look at this now. We're talking about fintech right now. And we're talking about something very important, business growth. Do you think fintech has anything to do with business growth at all?
Sure. In today's world, you cannot actually do business without fintech. It's never possible because everything you are doing today has to be in the digital space. And for that to happen, fintech has to come in. Every business deals with finance, whether you are selling or you are manufacturing. And to do this, you get to your customer by virtue of seamless payment, whether globally or locally. And fintech has helped in shaping the space in this nature. And it doesn't really end in payment, but it also helps aggregate every other operational activity. For example, it helps you manage multiple stores. These are the roles that fintechs are playing today. Let's say you have more than 2, 3, 5, 10 stores, and it's difficult for traditional accountants to actually carry out this record processing and all. And with the help of financial technology, because the word is actually financial technology, that's finance inculcated with technology. So that's what fintech is. Has bring to the business work today. And I think Metic Pay is shaping that space.
All right. As it is right now, you said something very vital, and of course, we're looking at transactions now. You talked about multiple stores. When you say multiple store, it means someone owning more than one business. Is that what it means?
Yeah, it can be in a chain, someone owning more than one business, and it can be the same business but with multiple outlets.
Okay.
Yes. Let's take an example of Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro is a same business but with multiple stores. So Kilimanjaro has to manage all their stores. They have to receive payment from all their stores, and they have to close business at the end of that day. And you agree with me that it's never possible with the traditional accounting system. But with fintech coming in, they don't just offer you payment, but they offer you that ability to run your business seamlessly outside the payment part of it.
Okay, let's look at it critically now, because some people are saying you need some level of knowledge, some level of understanding, because we're talking digital now, we're talking fintech. The traditional business person, okay, because you talked about the traditional accounting, how it will not be able to meet up, especially in this 21st century where a lot of people do a lot of businesses, multiple stores and all of that. Is there anything that is being done to help people? I'm talking about educating the people, because the process needs to be easy for people to actually know how it happened. Is there anything that the fintech world is doing generally to educate people? Because this is Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about, and a lot of people are not so familiar, all right, with fintech as it were. Is there anything people can do, or is there any awareness that can be created for people to embrace this?
All right. Very well. I think there are a lot of awareness. There are a lot of communities out there that are actually doing this. For example, we have the Nigeria Fintech Association, and every year there is what we call the Nigeria Fintech Week, where all fintechs come together, educate the public on the products and the benefit of this product that they are actually offering. Outside that, I think the government is also doing something great. We have the financial inclusion, which is also a goal of the CBN, by spreading this knowledge down to the grassroots. And that is massive, and that has been great. So this knowledge is not something that is hidden, and it's already being inculcated into our schools. You see the likes of a bigger fintech institution going on publicity awareness. They go to schools, primary school, secondary school, try to teach them what financial inclusion is all about and how they can benefit from the global participation of the fintech industry.
Wow. I think you can see what I'm talking about. I'm just getting to know that even the government is actually interested in this, and I think that goes a long way for me, because the orientation will need to come from the government, and the issue of schools, that interests me so much. Now let's get to business proper right now. Some persons feel that the fintech has come to push the orthodox financial institutions aside. That's what some persons feel, because something happened during the cashless society. I want to take your mind back a little bit, during the cashless society, a lot of things happened, and people were resorting back to fintech, because their transactions at a point was seamless. Some things you can't do, because I don't want to call the name of those fintech companies now, so that it doesn't appear as if you know what I'm talking about. So as it is right now, do you see it as a competition? Because most times we've seen beautiful things spring up, and some set of people come to fight it to make sure it doesn't grow, because they feel it is a competition for them. Is fintech facing any such
All right,
competition from people who feel fintech has come to take food away from our mouth?
Actually, it's not. Fintech has come to innovate this space. It's not actually taking food out of anybody's mouth, and fintech is not actually. Yes, the global space is very competitive, but at the same time, you understand that Nigeria is a very big country with over 200 million citizens. So we need more of fintechs to come into the space to actually make finance go to the grassroots, which are the people in the villages, in the communities. And I think the competition there is not actually to drive the bigger banks out of business, but to help them and to help them achieve that goal, which is also the goal of the government, to make sure that more than 80% of Nigeria citizens have access to bank accounts.
Wow, I think this is good, because personally, I'm even getting to know now that it's not a competition thing, it is just a complementing thing. But some persons look at it as a competition. For instance, you go to the banking sector, you can't make withdrawals. Then you just pick your phone, just with an application. Within a twinkle of an eye, transactions are already being done, and businesses are already having transactions. What ways do you think, do you have 2 or 3, or enumerate, just let us know how this can scale up business growth, the growth of business in Nigeria? Because what we need in Nigeria right now is all the fintechs coming together, to help people. Because as it is, Ahmed, so many things are fighting, all right, the business world today, apart from taxes that comes from the government, apart from the fact that there is no power supply, apart from the fact that you need to get data to actually do all of this. And the person doing this business will have to count 1 or 2, 3 causes. Now, what benefit is fintech bringing to the table to help people scale their businesses in the midst of all these challenges?
Okay. In business, the bloodline of every business is money, and it translates to cash flow. Now, in today's world, easy payments and seamless payments make that cash flow run without issues. So if you're a business person and you are having challenges accepting payments, that's a bottleneck. And when customers discover that, yes, you have this bottleneck, you tend to lose these customers to your competitors. So that's why you see many businesses today are embracing fintech, because fintech actually bring this simplicity and seamlessness to their table, to their comfort. Outside giving them this simple way of receiving payments, it exposes them to the global world. Businesses today are able to receive even digital currencies, meaning businesses can now receive currencies outside the controversial naira that we are using in Nigeria today, making them open to the global space, meaning you can now receive money from your customers in UK, in China, in Uganda, name it. So fintech has made this cross-border payment also very, very possible, which I think the local traditional bank system has failed to do all this. So that's why I say
the stress is even so much.
Yes.
Even if they are doing it, the stress. Do you know what it means to go on a queue for almost 30 minutes to 1 hour and your transaction has not happened? We have a situation where some persons couldn't even take salary in some organizations because we heard that maybe some of these financial institutions were having issues that we don't really know. But then, one thing that people are scared of, Ahmed, is cybersecurity. How safe is fintech in the midst of cybercrime? Because a lot of people will say, hey, don't talk about that. What happens? I'm not there to monitor them. They are not even physical. I don't know how these transactions are being done. This is digital world, and a lot of people, Nigerians, are just trying to embrace the system. So what would you have to say about the fear, of maybe breakdown in system, fintech? Hey, my money go lost, so hey, even if I'm putting money, if I'm doing any transaction with a fintech, no matter the business should be between this range. I can't exceed this. If I put 100 million there and anything happen, this fear, what do you think, can be done? Or are you trying to say there shouldn't be fear at all? Because I know you for something. You have a word, you have a slogan. Matic Pay, seamless payment, seamless transaction. It's one of the things you say anytime I'm with you. These are some of the things you say oftentimes. So can we talk about how seamless and how trustworthy and how safe people's money can be, dealing with the fintechs? All
right, very well. When it comes to safety, I always tell people what you don't understand, the knowledge you don't have might likely be what will lead you astray. It's good to have this knowledge. Like I said, the FinTech Week just ended 2 weeks back, and if you look at what we discussed on that FinTech Week is education, financial literacy, and how technology has come to change the landscape of the way we do things here in Africa, especially in Nigeria. Because when you're talking about Africa, you are virtually talking about Nigeria, because Nigeria is one of the most populated country in Africa. So diving deep, fintech are actually regulated just like the normal banks. We are all regulated by CBN and NDIC. So when we talk about money safety, I think money safety, when you have that money safety in the banks, you also have it in the fintechs. You don't have to, the bigger problem that this traditional system face is the inability to open multiple branches, because this also rise their cost. Imagine you having we have over 700 local governments in Nigeria. If you are to have your branch situated in every local government in Nigeria, meaning you have to have more than 700 branches, that's very costly to maintain. So the fintech has come to break that brick and mortar kind of banking and bring in banking with conveniency, banking in your own bedroom, banking anywhere you are in the world. Not only when you are in Nigeria, not only when you have to be within the confines of Africa, but even when you are outside Africa, you can transact in Africa and still bank in Africa without having fears. So this will bring about investments, which will bring about growth in business and in the government entirely. So I don't think fintech is here to maybe siphon anybody's money or this thing, but I will still advise that you do your due diligence before putting your money into.
Yeah, when you talk about due diligence, what do you mean by due diligence now? Because Nigerians are watching you right now. Millions of people are watching you in the country, almost everyone in the country and at the diaspora can hear what you're saying right now. When you say due diligence, because I'm actually very particular about this, because what was saying now is not just limited to Nigerians alone. A lot of Nigerians, you hear someone, I want to get goods from China, I want to get goods from this thing, but then I don't, some person will tell you, I don't even have a dollar account, so I can't do it. You know, but from what you've said, it is easy with the fintech. Now, when you say due diligence, do your due diligence before you actually go about your transactions. What do you mean?
Okay, what I mean is that for every institution, there's what we call KYC. Any institution that does not go through that process of, before accepting you as a customer, making sure that they get to know you and you get to know them, that's the first step of onboarding with any of these institutions. I think you should have a second thought. But if that due diligence is carried out, meaning they are familiar with you as far as you are familiar with them, they know you and you know them, that's like know your customer, which is the KYC. Once that step is settled, you are good to go. Then when it comes to the seamlessness that fintech provide, with the emergence of fintech, we also have what we call it Web3 finance today, which is the decentralized finance, which is also what fintech has bring to the table, making this cross-border payment seamless. Before now, if you want to pay somebody in China, it might take up to 3 to 7 days.
Even more.
Even more. But today, with the emergence of Web3, paying somebody in China is as you just sipping a tea. Meaning it's as seamless as possible as at today. And MagicPay is not left out in this innovation and is doing this with the MagicPay business, which actually help business to receive payment internationally and also make payment internationally.
All right, our time is winding up, but then before I let you go, let's talk about this a little bit, because it's very important and it's necessary to know. We're talking about seamless transaction now, okay, and we're talking about fintech. That man, all right, in the hinterland, okay, who doesn't believe in all this technology, because some of them will tell you, this and this and this and this and that. We're talking about the growth of businesses right here. What do you think, okay, can be done apart from the mere just letting someone know that this and this and this and this? What is, for people who have known this thing already, okay, is there any way, okay, I don't own a fintech company, but is there any way I can educate someone, all right, to buy into the idea of fintech when I don't own a fintech company? Do you feel there are some salient points that I'll need to hit and say, hey, come on, you're doing this business, and for this business to grow, for you to scale in this business, make profit, do more transaction, have people do seamless transaction, because the more seamless, the more patronage. How do I communicate with people like that when I don't own a fintech company or whatever?
At this point, I think it's good I mention what fintech has already innovated, which is called the aggregatorship.
Okay.
Now, fintech is also creating that large employment opportunity, taking a lot of Nigeria youth out of the streets. You see a lot of Nigeria
I love
youth
this one.
going around trying to speak to businesses. It's called the aggregatorship platform, where fintech offer every young Nigeria out there the opportunity to work at your space, where you can actually go out, educate these businesses and get them on board. And you are being paid for doing this. You don't have to own a fintech business before you can introduce to a business, because it's an open space and you can make money. You can actually make money from this. People are making millions from the comfort of their home just by telling other businesses the advantage that fintech brings to the table. So you see it. You don't actually need to own a fintech business to preach it to others.
I think one of the parts that I love so much is the fact that it takes these young ones out of the street, talking about the employment, because the rate of unemployment in the country is alarming. Then finally, before I let you go, you talked about onboarding. What do you mean by onboarding, and how is that done? Because, like for instance, let's say someone wants to onboard. How do you do that?
Okay. If I get the question clearly, onboarding as an aggregator is by just writing to the fintech platform. Let's take, for example, Med Technology has what we call it Student Ambassadorial Program, a program that allows students while in school give this literacy to their peers and make money out of it. We actually pay them for telling other students and teaching them on how to use the application and getting them aware of what fintech is all about. Embracing it at the early stage I think, is our core. It's one of our core values, and we are pushing that with all resources available.
Okay, finally, before I let you go, finally, I'm saying finally, like some churches. All right, finally, before I cut it short. All right, let me ask you this last question now, because you personally, what role do you think the government should play? Okay, what role do you think the government should play additional to the one they are playing right now to support fintech in Nigeria? We need it. We need fintech in the country, and we need it to be operational everywhere. So what do you think? Okay, just say yes. As a fintech expert, if the federal government do this and do that, it's going to create more job opportunity, and it's going to encourage the fintech companies to do more or do better.
Okay, one of the things is to create the enabling environment. Every business needs a good environment to run. The inflation right now is crazy, and it's affecting everyone in the country. Rent has skyrocketed, and so if the government can make necessary provisions like single-digit loan for people playing in the fintech space, provision like maybe a hub where you get to stay for the first 2 to 5 years without having to pay rent, because this fintech are actually, no fintech in Nigeria today has less than 5 staffs. You can imagine what that we do for the country if they are able to grow outside that realm. And if you look at it very well, you see that fintech also is creating, is bringing in investment, and finance is the second largest GDP contributor in the country today after oil and gas. If you check the ratio, I think proper care should be channeled towards the fintech space and on the finance space. With that, I think.
Thank you very much, Ahmed Momosani, for coming around. He's a fintech expert and the CEO of Matic Technology, and we are glad to have you today. Please, all right, keep doing what you're doing and keep maintaining the space, making transactions seamless. Everyone operating fintech in this country, do what you can do so that at least you can take people off the street and get them gainfully employed, like we've heard this morning. We hope to have you some other time again. And of course, I want to say a very big thank you to you for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
And it's going to be the size of this discussion. As a matter of fact, we're coming up with the next discussion, and we are going to be looking at the digital space because the world is evolving. And as a matter of fact, the digital space is widely open, and there are a lot of things that can be done within that space. And that's why even the federal government is taking advantage of the digital space, digital economy, and every other thing that we need to move the country forward, to salvage the situation, to at least save our economy from dwindling on a daily basis. You will join us for the next conversation, and that's going to be after this break when Gideon Okibe will be joining me. He is a digital skill trainer. That will be after this break.